All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division with Terence "Bud" Crawford reiterating, while he acts a little bit shady about the ERROL Spence Jr. fight, that he is still looking for the Jermell Charlo fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about the 154-pound division and what Terence Crawford has to say about him moving up there, what he said in the recent past, what he's just said yesterday, and what it is starting to look like more and more is going to happen. But before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for checking out the channel. Please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And definitely thank you for your participation in this video. Also, check out the live streams that we do pretty much every day of the week, early in the morning. Most of the topics we were not able to get to in the videos, we do in the live streams. And I'm always there to ask questions, interact with you. So it's always good stuff. Hit that subscribe button. If you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, welcome back to the channel. As always, good to chop it up with you. Boxing right now is not necessarily the hottest thing going on the planet. Have some good fights coming up. However, most of the news that is going around and the conversations that are going around are still related to what's going on in two of the big weight classes, 147 pounds and 154 pounds. This week, there's a really solid 147-pound fight taking place between Victor Ortiz and a guy from, I do believe he's from the UK. I could be wrong, McKinnison. The return of Virgil Ortiz, who had his last fight postponed because he had a blood condition. Now he has that worked out, and he's back in the ring. On that undercard is going to be a guy named Maurice Hooker fighting. I'm sure you're familiar with Maurice Hooker, is former 140-pound champion, is going to be fighting Blair the Flair Cos, Mr. Woo, this weekend. So as a result, Terence Crawford is in Dallas, and he gave an interview, and he was asked about the ERROL Spence Jr. fight and what his plans are going to be. Now, what he said about the ERROL Spence Jr. fight, we already covered in a video, but shortly said something that sounded a little bit funny in that he said, yeah, that's a really good fight. Want to see that fight down the line. Then he changed. He said, oh, no, I don't mean down the line. I mean real soon. However, by the time he said that, me, myself, who's grown pretty skeptical about what's going on, because I don't see what is going to change in the next couple weeks to make this fight go off, especially since it seems like everything related to this is the money. Listen to what he said, and I was like, okay, well, hopefully it takes place. But if it doesn't take place, look, what are you going to do next? Well, one thing that Terence Crawford has been pretty insistent upon and has pretty much been holding out there as a plan B has been his desire to fight at 154 pounds and become the undisputed champion at 154 by fighting the current undisputed champion at 154, who is Jermell Charlo, right? Now, that I don't think, other than the fact that, we've had so much conversation and there's such a big wish out there among many boxing fans to want to see the ERROL Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight. Like I said, if they cannot work that money out for that fight soon, if they can't come up with an answer soon, I say, okay, move on to the next thing that you have going on. Specifically, ERROL Spence, who has a good fight that he can make with Amanda Stanionis. More than likely, he's not going to fight Jaron Ennis, but, just let's move it on, man. Make the fight or don't make the fight. With Jermell saying that he wants to go up to 150, Terence Crawford saying that he wants to fight at 154 pounds, though, I got to say, look, man, now I don't mind the fight at all. I would like to see the fight. Terence Crawford and Jermell Charlo would be a great fight. Something highly anticipated fight. Something that, especially like the press conferences and all of that, the fight itself should be a very, very good fight. My only question is, will you run into the same problems with Jermell Charlo, making the Jermell Charlo fight that you ran into making the Errol Spence Jr. fight, right? Now, maybe he would say, come at it from the point of view like, oh, it's not as big a fight as Errol Spence, so therefore the monetary demands would not necessarily be as high as it was if he was fighting Errol Spence. However, you still do have that network issue where you have Jermell Charlo, who's with the PBC, with Al Heyman, and you're still going to have to work those type of issues out. And I've maintained the entire time that what Tim Smith from the PBC said really does matter. Where they say, look, our job is we've got a lot of fighters that we have to build. And Terence Crawford was not built correctly, not marketed correctly when he was with Top Rank, as we see, with his pay-per-view buys, right? And how the fact that they just did not do very well. So, it's not our job. This is Tim Smith, the director of communications from PBC speaking. Like, look, man, it's not our job to build Terence Crawford, right? So will that situation change from the 154-pound division, the 147-pound negotiations to the 154-pound division, right? Because you're still going to have the issue about whether or not these guys are going to pay a big guarantee to him, or whether or not they're going to get back in money. Same thing still applies. Then also you also have the obvious thing that 154 pounds is still just as stacked with PBC fighters as there are, as the 147-pound division, maybe even a little bit more so, because at this point, every belt that is in that division is held by the PBC, and you've got not only that, you have even more fighters, that the PBC and Showtime has to find dates for that are in the weight division. Like you have Fundora, you've got Tim Tszyu, that's Costa Tszyu's son, Tim Tszyu. You have guys like Keith Thurman moving up there, Danny Garcia, who just moved up there and fought David Benavidez. You have guys like Erickson Lubin that is still, even though he lost to Sebastian Fundora, who's still in the weight class, right? You have a bunch of guys. You have, David Morrell's at 168. I was going to say David Morrell. But you even have guys like Jason Rosario there, who's at 154 pounds. And then you have ERROL, who says if he's not able to make the fight with Terence Crawford, that he wants to move up to 154 pounds and start campaigning at 154 pounds. So that all of that same dynamic exists where that particular company could say, look, pull a Bob Arum. Like, look, we would love to, we love to have you get some of these shots, but, you're with the wrong promoter or you're not committed to the PBC. So, the question is Terence Crawford going to commit to the PBC and get beyond the desire of just the fighters to fight him and get to the point where the network is really pushing to get these fights for you? I think you can kind of tell with guys like Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, other guys that are in, did I say Keith Thurman? Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, guys like that, even Tony Harrison, that they are looking for opportunities for these guys to get on cards because they're PBC fighters. Are they going to do that? For Terence Crawford, that's going to be kind of tough, man. So, I think Terence is kind of like in between a rock and a hard place. Definitely an excellent fighter. Would never, shortchange him on that. I hope to see it. Now, he does have a mechanism again by which he can get that shot at the 154-pound title because he's the WBO super champ. So, if Tim Tszyu wins that fight that they're supposed to have in January with him and Jermell, if he wins that, then, Terence Crawford can immediately jump on that and become undisputed there and maybe force a situation where, they would be more likely to make the Terence Crawford fight, the ERROL and Terence Crawford fight at 154. But we'll see how that goes. I just thought it was interesting that he reiterated that, and it seems like something that he actually may be more interested in than the Errol Spence Jr. fight, because he's actually talks about that in an unprompted fashion. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.